Goodnight Kapeash. What's up, everybody? I'm a little dark in here. Shed a little bit more light. Mon ami, Mona Lisa. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Bird Live show. Today, I kind of want to go over and talk about, you know, when mayors and governors over budget about things, and you can actually see it is documented, cover these things, and then later on we be asking each other, oh, why ain't this and why ain't that, and this is like they covered it. We could have been at work. We people got lives and stuff like that. So we could have covered it. Could have been at work. You know what I'm saying? I seen it and stuff like that. There's always something that stops us from getting the information. So it's cool that other podcasters and people like myself get to go over these um, groups and stories and stuff like that and discuss it with you guys. I think it's highly important. I truly think it's important. And today I ran across this story right here. I want to kind of go over it with you guys and then, bring it to the light, you know? So without a further ado, y'all, I want y'all to definitely hear this story.
Yet another setback for the already delayed LAX people mover that is nearly $1 billion over budget. The contractor is now suing the city of LA amid ongoing disputes with the airport. KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos live at the LAX Metro Transit Center with the details. Annie Rose, good morning.
Hi, Frank. Good morning to you. Yeah, this project has been delayed and delayed and delayed, and not just by months, by years. They thought it was going to be ready by the World Cup. I was standing literally in this same spot interviewing someone from the airport talking about that. Well, that date has come and is almost gone. The World Cup ends in just a couple of days, and this people mover is still empty. I'm standing right here. This is a station. You might be able to see through the station. Some of the cars from the people mover just moved up, but as you can see, absolutely zero people here getting on and getting off it. That's because it's still going through the testing phase. But now, as you mentioned, the contractor called Linksys suing the city over ongoing disputes and delays. All right, take a look, because this is some of the paperwork, newly released court documents of the lawsuit, where they are accusing the airport, which is a city department, of concealing facts about delays in order to shift public blame over to the contractor, and created barriers for the contractor, Linksys, to move forward with the project. Now, in one example, they state in this lawsuit, a power outage back in 2025 delayed progress for 141 days. The suit claims that LADWP was responsible for the outage, but the airport instead blamed the contractor for it. Now, according to a statement from the contractor's company, which is Linksys, obtained by the LA Times, quote, Linksys remains committed to working with the airport to successfully deliver the automated people mover, APM, and provide a world-class transportation system for the LA region. We visited the people mover just a couple of months ago. We were right here where I'm standing to see it begin its testing phase. Train cars running on the tracks like they are this morning. The project was originally slated for a 2024 launch. The completion date for the train has been repeatedly pushed back to disagreements between Linksys and the airport over compensation and timeline. Back in June, we heard from the CEO of the airport from LAX speaking about the train delays during this podcast. Take a listen.
in the next few months. The contractor is telling us they'll be done.
Right.
We've got about a 6-week process where we'll have friends and family, riding out.
Soft launch,
We could have media out there. You never know. But we have a really methodical build up to put that in service when we're confident that it can deliver for Angel. Because the worst thing we could possibly do, I mean, it is years late. No excuses. No, you can't. I mean, you can't hide a 3-year-old train. It's 2.5 mile long thing, kind of hard to hide. It's late. It would be even worse to deliver it late and have it not work properly and not serve its purpose.
All right, back here live. Here's one of those trains coming our way, empty, and it is a 2.25 mile electric train route. So that is how long it goes. It's electric. It was a roughly $3 billion project. And what travel experts all agree is that this is going to significantly decrease traffic here at LAX, which we know is a good thing. When all is said and done, when you get on this train, it is supposed to be able to take you in and out of the horseshoe in just about 10 minutes. But still, as of this morning, Frank and Jessica, there is still no clear date for completion of this project. Guys, back to you.
And Annie Rose, do we know, is this going to add yet another delay to the whole project? I mean, the fact that they're now going to be in litigation. I mean, John Ackerman is the CEO and or the chairman.
The fact that this project is over $1 billion in debt, the fact that $1 billion or half of or a nice percentage of this money is coming out of taxpayers' money is a problem. The fact that you're looking at this and they're driving it, they're hiring people. People are catching a paycheck for operating this electric bill. So that's the grid. And this summer, that's all you've been hearing about is how bad the grid is. The grid is going to be bad and it's going to burn down. And all of these sorts of problems that happen every day. And I discussed this last night or yesterday's show, is the fact that you got mayors that put money into this, and then whoever you paid to do this ain't doing their job. And yet again, we're not going to this company and holding them accountable and say, okay, cool, y'all didn't do your job. Y'all might need to be morally fired, but maybe locked up. Just maybe locked up. There's no way we paying all this money. And y'all know how California is about high taxes and everything. They tax for everything. Everything they do starts off with a tax. Okay. So you have that big problem like that. I'm just going to go over problems that mayors is supposed to be taking care of, that people sit up here and we complain about, and then we point at the president. The president don't be having nothing to do with these sorts of problems. So yet again, let's go over to New York. I heard this.
Well, Democratic
I'm just not jumping down one state. I think that's cool.
Socialists taking aim at New York City landlords and their profits. Martha McCallum pressed the chair of the DSA's New York chapter about the attacks. Here it is.
Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment. That's why we've implemented.
No one should have a right to a double-digit return on their investment.
No one has a right. That's not. No.
What are you talking
no
about?
one's in that. That's not in the Constitution. But what we see is that when we implement a
nobody has the right to make a double-digit profit. You can double. You can make 2%, 3%, 9%, but make 12, 11, 12% profit off of something then my guy right here, people of New York, people in Cali, saying that you're making too much off of whatever you're selling. And I know if my boy Johnny was here, he will agree with them.
And freeze. We have landlords who are crying that the government is going to put them out of business.
Well, I heard that and said, I want to talk to some landlords. So let's bring in Jose Tour and Natalia Bonanno, New York City landlords. And it's so good to have you here. Let me just kick it over to you, Natalia, because when you saw that and heard that, what was your first thought?
I mean, I don't know where they're getting 12% from. I know, a lot of people refer to the NOI figure that came out recently, and
What's NOI?
Net operating income.
Okay.
That doesn't take into account our mortgage and, insurance. Sorry.
So he's just getting it wrong on the number. We
Right.
have a number here that said the average profit for New York City landlords in rent stabilized units is $688 per month. And that's up 6.2% from 23 to 24. That doesn't include your costs, right, Jose?
No, not at all. And he's not speaking for rent stabilized properties, which is the properties that we own, which are severely distressed because our costs are so high and rents typically are way below the average of the market rents.
And when you say they're distressed, Natalia, does that mean you have to do a lot of repairs?
Yes. And, rent stabilized apartments that are rent stabilized because they're built before 1974 have a much lower increase and much lower rents, and they typically need the most work. Most of our buildings were built at the turn of the century, early 1900s.
So this is what they're talking about when people talking about, okay, affordable housing and affordable living, because these tenants, these landlords right here are going out for low income places where they can rent out cheap and try to do a quick flip. But yet again, in the market, where a market is 3 times as high in their area, so they're getting lows, and then they don't have enough money to keep up with the maintenance. I wish my boy Johnny was here, because he'd be like, they don't need to have this job. And like, well, then don't get the building. Well, then the building will never get fixed. You know?
They seem to want to villainize you, and you are the ones providing the housing. But you have a long history of being here. I think that they don't understand who the landlords are. Like, they think that it's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Tell me about your story.
Yeah, so it all started with my grandfather. He immigrated from Cuba in the 70s, bought his first building when he was 50 years old in 1979 with seller financing, because at that time the banks wouldn't want to finance. Things were very tough here in the city. The Bronx was burning, as they would say. And he built the business by himself over the course of 10, 15 years, working as much as he can until he got enough money to pay off the buildings and find a helper. And sadly for him, it ended last year where he was mugged at gunpoint by a tenant and had a stroke and died 2 weeks later at 99 years old. I mean, here you have this Cuban immigrant that got to this country, worked as hard as he could, at 50 years old up till 99, and it's how it ended for him. And it was a tenant that didn't pay rent for 5 years. It shows how flawed the system is in its entirety and how inefficient everything is here.
It's a tragic story. And yours is?
Yeah, my father came here as an immigrant as well. When he was a teenager, was the first college graduate of his family, got a master's in engineering. And after a few years working as an engineer, he wanted to, become an entrepreneur and own his own business and own property. So he started to invest also in the 70s in buying properties in Brooklyn, and then pass them down to my sister and I.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to continue doing this work?
I do. I think it's the right thing to do on behalf of my family, and also of the tenant. Like, we're a huge company that's not present. Like, we're boots on the ground. We're there. We know everyone there, and we think it's the right thing to do to represent our stake.
Last word to you, Natalia, excuse me.
That's okay. Yeah, we're selling most of our rent stabilized buildings because we just don't see a future here for having profit. We could stay in New York City and maybe invest in non-rent stabilized properties, but if not, we'll have to just sell and purchase properties in other states.
Well, we'll see if they're listening at the mayor's office. Thank you so much. And we appreciate, and I'm sorry about what happened to your grandfather.
Thank you.
Bill?
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest.
You heard that. Yet again, here we go with the government getting in bid. I don't know if socialists, I think they are called. I don't know if socialists understand like they want less government or do they want more government? And so therefore, if you want more government, that's like saying you want more of the people to hand out. I'm real curious about the socialist movement because obviously we're watching it, we're looking at it with our own eyes, and we can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? And what are we to do if they are become of ourselves when this is the new norm? This is the new norm. And I'm just sitting back watching. There's things I don't like, there's things I'm starting to see, but when you see them actually just take place, it's like, hey, these are things that are happening. I was actually trying to go into some other news. Well, let me do this real quick. I guess this Dave murder case is breaking.
Rivas Hernandez.
David is facing multiple charges after the teen's dismembered body was found in his Tesla last year. KTLA Sandra Mitchell is live in Hollywood with an update on the proceedings. Sandra.
John and Cher, for the first time today, we get a look at the detailed evidence in this case, including testimony from a police detective and graphic pictures, really gruesome pictures of the victim's body that was mutilated, put in 2 different bags. All of this while the teen victim, Celeste Rivas Hernandez's parents, were right there in the courtroom. They got to see David face to face, and her mother cried in court. A parade of police officers and gruesome pictures of the teen victim's mutilated body. Day 1 of the preliminary hearing against singer David, and the prosecution aiming to prove there is enough evidence to force the 21-year-old singer David Burke to trial.
We will be seeking to hold David to answer for 3 felony counts of which he has been charged. First-degree murder with special circumstances, the count of lewd and lascivious acts with a 13-year-old, and the count of mutilation of human remains.
The decomposing body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in David's Tesla in September. Prosecutors say David killed her in his Hollywood Hills home because she threatened to expose their sexual relationship and ruin his music career. LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman says there is a motive and overwhelming evidence that will prove David stabbed Rivas Hernandez and then dismembered her with a chainsaw.
We are not obligated, nor will we be presenting all the evidence at a preliminary hearing that we will be presenting at a trial to prove David beyond a reasonable doubt guilty.
During the hearing, which could last up to 5 days, the defense will get to challenge and try to prove there is not enough evidence to force a trial.
They have no statements from David Burke. They don't have any other eyewitnesses. So they're going to question each and every piece of evidence that the prosecution presents.
Again, this hearing expected to wrap up at the end of this week. Then the judge will decide if this case should go to trial. The district attorney today saying they will more than prove it. And then the DA's office will decide if it goes to trial, if they will seek the death penalty. We're live tonight in Hollywood. I'm Sandra Mitchell, KTLA 5 News. Sharon John, back to you.
This is, stop playing. We going to trial. Every person that I have ever asked about this case that knows anything about David and where he came from and how he blew up, and you know what I'm saying, getting to find all these random people and getting making quick money is astonishing and it's quick, fast, and everybody's not in their right mind to do what they have to do to go down the right path. This path of trying to be fame and fortune and do the right things and always having people like you, your crush like or like crush or whatever word you want to use on whoever, and then you end up making decisions like David and end up being like this. And then superstar or being on top goes very, very far. It takes a lot. A lot. And I don't think everybody else is cut off of this. This right here, this David person, obviously is not cut off for it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you secretly wanted to be something more than just, this music influencer. And I think that's the thing where people is using and like, okay, that's what I want to be, is I want to be an influencer. And I don't think everybody should be influenced, because I'm just saying, who did he influence? Why should he influence? What did he influence? You can kind of ask yourself that question. Are you influencing, and is it what you're doing? We don't know.
Tonight.
I'm going to cover all types of news. And look, they were like, what is it, Kapeash? What is it? It's just stories like this. When you already see people outside half naked, it's hot. It's hot. It's real hot outside.
A gunman opening fire, unleashing multiple rounds in this North Las Vegas neighborhood, randomly firing as he appears to roam the streets. Doorbell cameras capture the shirtless man with what police say is an AR-15. Look as he walks down the street Sunday pointing his gun, even knocking at a front door. He crouches down on this porch to take aim. Ryan Adams films the shooting from a window before the gunman starts firing in his direction.
What the? Oh. Get out.
Adams warns his family to take cover.
We were armed and just sitting tight, hoping that he didn't come in. And fortunately for us, that he didn't. Couple on the...
Later showing our Las Vegas station KSNV, where several bullets pierced his home.
We just found a bullet fragment right here on the side, and then it actually buried in the wall.
Police arrived with guns drawn. The suspect on the ground before taking off running. Police say the suspect resisted their attempt to take him into custody, and once apprehended, he became unresponsive, adding they believe he was impaired. The gunman was later declared dead at a hospital. A chilling end, sending terror through this quiet neighborhood. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
We thank you for watching.
I know what people are thinking. Take the guns away. Take the guns away. I ain't taking no guns away. Take crazy people away. See, people always say, "Hey, you're mean. And you don't think about others, man." I think about others. I think about other people's safety. I think about other people's safety. See,
Exclusive video tonight of an
I'm finna show you about other people's safety, and y'all be like, "Take crazy people away." Yeah, take crazy people away. Take crazy people away.
explosion in the back of a Milwaukee garbage truck.
This blast did injure a city sanitation worker. It happened Wednesday near 9th and Aberts, just south of Capitol. 12 News' Nick Board joining us live there. Nick, this is all about the improper disposal of oxygen tanks.
Right, those canisters that are used for health reasons. Proper legal disposal is the key, certainly not tossing them in the garbage cart. That's meant to prevent the type of hazardous situation that happened in the street here last Wednesday when a couple of them exploded, injuring that sanitation worker. A sudden violent explosion as a sanitation truck compacted trash. Two workers standing at the back of their truck, one of them knocked to the ground, suffering an eye injury and a concussion.
They empty the carts, and then there's a blade that packs it in to make room for the next loads.
The Department of Public Works explains the men were just starting their day when their routine was shattered.
As the crew started to move the packing blade, that pressure caused an explosion. And we came to find out that there were two oxygen tanks that exploded. There were an additional two that were recovered from the hopper as well.
It's the reason it's strictly forbidden to put any pressurized canisters, including oxygen and propane, into the trash.
One of the pieces of shrapnel was lodged in his eye. They were able to remove that. We're very fortunate that he was wearing his safety glasses. And that's something that, is what we train everybody to do.
Similar incidents have happened across the country, like this one in Ohio last year. There was a similar oxygen tank blast in Milwaukee 2 years ago, but no one was hurt. It's hoped the blast here last week gets people's attention.
It definitely could have been worse. The carts.
Nah, you sent out a note, email. Everybody in United States of America needs to know about this. Not just do a small little story. See, I thought it was like a propane tank or something that had like a barbecue something. Yes, I'm dumb enough to think like that. I would think like that. Yes. But we're talking about one of them oxygen propane things, which I really don't even know what it really looks like for real. You need to send out a message to everybody. It's not hard. Make a TikTok out of it. And then when the TikTok, you know what I'm saying, stuff like this, you need to make a TikTok out of it, go viral, whatever, everybody will see it, and then everybody will know. I think when stuff needs to go viral and needs to be known like this, state of emergency, make a TikTok out of it. Go viral, boom, bam, bing. You know what I'm saying? Case closed. Because everybody's not going to know about this story. Everybody's not going to know about this. It's important. See, I wouldn't have known about this if I just have been strolling in the news section. I don't live in Milwaukee.
In that case, as they were still on the end of the truck, took some of the blow, but even with that, he was blown back many feet in the shrapnel, so very dangerous.
Bro, for what, Edgar? The Hobie was laid out. I always wanted to stop. I had to catch myself or even stop it and pause it on that. But Sissy said it, which one where they showed him like that? Like they showed him straight laid out.
packing blade, that pressure caused an explosion, and we came to find out that there were 2 oxygen tanks that exploded. There were an additional 2 that were recovered from the hopper as well.
It's the reason it's strictly forbidden to put any pressurized canisters, including oxygen and propane, into the trash.
One of the pieces of shrapnel was lodged in his eye. They were able to
Found suffering an eye injury and a concussion.
They empty the carts, and then there's a blade that
was shattered.
As the
right here, I'm gonna say, man, there was another angle. I see we like the Hobie was laid out.
Public Works explains the men were just starting their day when their routine was shattered.
As the crew started to
we got to know more about this. Somebody finna show me how to make a TikTok, cutting this up, pointing this out. Need to be go viral, just so everybody know in all 50 states. Case closed. Easy. Solved. Let me go back one more time to the end of this story.
took some of the blow, but even with that, you know, he was blown back many feet in the shrapnel. So very dangerous situation.
A dangerous and really startling video to see, Nick. So where are people supposed to dispose of those canisters?
Well, you can take propane canisters and tanks to the city drop-off sites or the dumps, but you can't take oxygen canisters there. The best bet is to look at them, see where they came from, what medical supply company. They're obligated to take them back, perhaps even pick them up for you, even if you are not the patient. The big thing, though, remembering not to throw them in the trash. That could subject you up to $5,000 in fines. And certainly, as we saw there,
Bro, they finna get hit. They is finna get fined, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna see, that's what I'm saying. Make a TikTok video out of this. Make sure you put that fine part in it. Don't forget that. Put that in there. Sign, seal, and deliver. I'm yours. Yeah. Snowy wowie. Okay. Oops.
A major plan to bring new life to downtown St. Louis is now law. Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill designed to encourage developers to turn vacant buildings into new housing and businesses. Fox 2's Laura Simon is live.
This is what people have been asking.
Downtown this morning with the very latest. Laura?
Yes, Blair, when you drive through downtown St. Louis or walk through the area, it's pretty hard to miss some of the vacant buildings that have sat empty for years, including the AT&T tower behind me. But state leaders are hoping that this new law helps change that. So Governor Mike Kehoe just signed this bill into law this week, and the law creates millions of dollars in tax incentives, and those said tax incentives will help developers convert vacant office buildings into things like apartments, businesses, and other new uses. The goal here is to help jumpstart projects in buildings that have been sitting empty for years. The law also creates what's called an innovation zone. So if downtown receives that designation, developers could qualify for a variety of tax incentives here, while some of the new tax revenue generated downtown could be reinvested into things like police, lighting, sidewalks.
Or if that didn't look like New Jack City. If that didn't look like New Jack City. Hold on, I gotta do it. Yeah, right there, y'all. That's New Jack City.
Projects in buildings that have been sitting empty for years. The law also creates what's called an innovation zone. So if downtown receives that designation, developers could qualify for a variety of tax incentives here. While some of the new tax revenue generated downtown could be reinvested into things like police, lighting, sidewalks, cameras, and other infrastructure. Supporters say this could help attract more people, more businesses, and more private investment to downtown St. Louis.
That's the job of the mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it out of the mouth. I keep saying this over and over and over. Mayor is supposed to help bring jobs and businesses to the city, to its town. The governor's supposed to govern laws and make sure that the state gets proper funding.
Always looking for more action down here, and every little step we take goes a long way. So I can't thank the governor enough for this action.
So the governor signing House Bill 3231 into law this week. Downtown does not automatically receive these incentives, though. Regional leaders are going to have to apply for downtown St. Louis to be.
Now the mayor supposed to invest into that, get the business. Ooh, all right, now I got moving. We go get some investors. Let me talk to some people, shake some hands, reach out to the community. You know what I'm saying? And hop on this plan right here.
A designated innovation zone, and then individual development projects would still have to qualify. The law itself takes effect on August 28. Live in downtown St. Louis this morning, Laura Simon, Fox 2 News.
A major plan to bring new life to downtown St. Louis is now law.
It sounds good, it looks good, and I'm for it. In the beginning, that's what we want. Okay. I hope it goes forward in the right direction. Now, y'all see me, I got my fingers crossed and all that good stuff. I'm with it. But yet again, it's still going to be up to the right investors. Make sure the investors do what they got to do to get the job done. All right, y'all. Switch it up. Y'all know me. Politics is always grounded with me. That's just what all I know. Not all of what I know. It just interests me. You know what I'm saying? To see that things I've been here for a while and things you seem like should be simple and easy to get done. The simple fix or the hard fix. I definitely got to play.
All new tonight at 11, the massive eyesore in downtown LA, known as the Graffiti Tower.
I definitely played this story. This story right here just amazes me.
Tonight at 11, the massive eyesore in downtown LA, known as the Graffiti Towers, is finally on track to being cleaned up.
CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. And Mike, the property has drawn attention for all the wrong reasons, but now it's been purchased?
Yeah, it has been, or it's right in the final processes of it. What's gone on is because this is such a mess for so many reasons. The bankruptcy courts were involved in all of this. And before the sale could go through, the bankruptcy issues had to get settled. And today, according to Mayor Karen Bass's office, the city withdrew its objection to the bankruptcy deal after the proposed owner said that they would speed up the timeline and do other things to get this property taken care of. Now, remember, this has been empty. It never was actually ever finished, but really started having problems around 2020 when people started breaking into it and graffitiing it almost from top to bottom. There are 3 towers involved in what was supposed to be ocean-wide plaza. It was billed as this major development, but this turned into this, where people were tightrope crossing it. They were jumping off of it with parachutes. The whole thing is graffiti from top to bottom. Massive amounts of vandalism inside of it. So much so that the LAPD started making arrests and had to build these really fortified fences all the way around it, all while the developer just kind of left it there and walked away from it. Ultimately, though, as I mentioned, it did end up in bankruptcy court. And now a proposed buyer is on the table. And the city today withdrew its objections to the bankruptcy deal so that the sale could move forward. The sale, by the way, once it's completed, Pat Rudabay, the mayor's office says they've
I think we got a quick fix to empty buildings, especially over like 2 years. Empty. This been since 2020. It's 2026. Okay. Even though it's hung up in the courts, I want to get a good review of the building, I guess. When a property owner of this caliber buys something that's real big and expensive and does what he do, and then he leaves it on the table before it gets to bankruptcy, especially this big. I understand what I'm saying would affect little people like me and the situation that I'm in and stuff like that. But y'all gotta get hit with some type of fine for not leaving projects like this. This is huge. Like, there's got to be some type of timeline of if you're not gonna do something with it, boom, boom, boom. Let's get it done. You know, you would think as a mayor, I seen my eyes sore. I'm checking on the buildings. I'm gonna make a few phone calls myself, see what's going on. You know, get things done. I don't know if people take pride in their cities and their counties and stuff like that, but I think that's one thing of definitely showing pride in your city, town. That's crazy. But that's just to me. You know, you vandalize something and then you like, hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? Let's do something. What we gonna do about some of these things that are like this? We got to put in little policies. You know what I'm saying? If we're able to get hit with taxes and stuff like that truly affect it, I got to find a way to hit them with taxes so they can move on and do their things. And they look.
So we just got word why ES.
I can play this. This is short. Oops.
ESPN fired Ryan Clark. Now, if you don't know who Ryan Clark is, he's been one of the most despised analysts on television ever since he arrived at ESPN in 2015. Just listen to some of his takes yourself.
I don't think Tom Brady, I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents.
What? Like Phillip Rivers as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I'd actually love it.
Keep in mind, this is without even talking about the hours of race baiting that Ryan Clark has done over the years.
The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country. You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women.
Ryan Clark wasn't told he was fired before the day or after the day. He wasn't even told by an email. Nope. Ryan Clark did a show at ESPN, and during the show, he was told that he was being laid off. Now, we're giving away copies of Grand Theft Auto 6 to a follower of this page, but this is expected to be the first of many ESPN layoffs. So if you want to see who else is going to get laid off, make sure you're followed.
I think race hustlers that racially be hustling are going to get put to an end. When you're out there talking about how you're discriminating against and this is this and that with no true statement to back it up, I think the punishment is going to start happening. All right, y'all. I got a little fun news. Okay, got a little fun news.
Feel the excitement in the air. This is such a fun time of year. People are coming from all over the world here to San Diego to experience Comic-Con. So yeah, a little while ago, we heard from everyone from MTS, law enforcement, as well as people with Comic-Con themselves. We heard from them. Take a listen.
Comic-Con is in San Diego, but it clearly touches the entire county, resident cities, and the fact that they all take a part in this effort to bring their citizens to downtown, to Comic-Con using rapid transit is something that they should all be very proud of.
So everyone today really pushing people to take public transit to avoid the traffic mess. The wraps are going up all over downtown. I want to show you some of the ones we spotted this morning. Everything from The Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Wolverine, American Horror Story. So many cool wraps to look at. Now, the thing I'm most excited about, though, is the Gaslamp quarter sign. It is all Avengers Doomsday. Movie comes out at the end of the year. I'm a little bit of a Marvel nerd, so it's going to be really cool when that sign goes up. Now, some things to note.
But ladies and gentlemen, the trailer has already dropped. Some of us already know. If you're in the comic book world, if you're a nerd like me, I know this is something I probably should be discussing a lot more because I'm geeked up about it just like you, even though I'm a DC fan. Seeing Supergirl, I won't talk about that. That's another episode or something like that. But yet again,
When you get down here, again, if you're driving, parking is going to be really tough. It's going to be expensive to park in any of the garages. I've seen anywhere from $30 to $100 to park. MTS is going to have more trolleys running than usual, and you should be able to catch one every 15 minutes. Now, the coaster is also going to be running, so you can hop on board and take pictures of people in costumes and make it a whole experience. Starting tomorrow, there's also going to be road closures along Harbor Drive, as well as construction going on south of the convention center. So back out here live, safety tips. The law enforcement talked about safety tips today. Certainly be aware of your surroundings. Your wallet, put your phone in your front pockets rather than your back pockets, and certainly
pay attention to your surroundings. You don't know these people. These people got masks on, costumes on. They're here to celebrate. And in the midst of that, there are people that are like, dang, this is a perfect time to rob, steal, and take those who are disillusional, thinking that nothing will happen to them just because it is them.
make sure that you report any suspicious activity to law enforcement. But for more information, just go to our website, cbs8.com, and click on.
Man, tweet about it. Yell it out, screen, record it, do what you gotta do. Don't get caught up in the rat. Okay. Because I bet the Comic-Con this year is probably going to be one of the most explosive Comic-Con that has been done in a while. I mean, trailers are already dropping. Most of these trailers are going to be done at Comic-Con. So I can just imagine what's going to be done at Comic-Con. With that, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, evening, anytime that you're watching this. I appreciate you guys watching this. And with that, I'm going to say
This motherfucker is locked.
I'm in love, baby.